Just like this. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in, welcome in. I miss my theme song. There's no theme song when I'm doing all three of the platforms. I don't get to play the theme song because I don't have an extra device for it. So welcome in, everybody. Welcome to the show. This one's going to take about 75 minutes. So we're going to go for about an hour and 15 minutes. I'm going to make a double portal with a wave. And it's going to have 2 clocks in it. You can already see the holes have been pre-drilled. And I've marked out my portals where I want it to be with a little marker on this little board before we got started. Now you can see it's a very thin little board. It's the back of a frame. Right? Have you ever taken out the backing of a frame, you know what I mean? And going to throw that piece away. I used to do it all the time. You'd pop out the back of this sucker and then you throw it out, right? I would do that all the time. And then I realized, hey, I need something hard that can hold a clock in there. And so we started to paint on these little suckers. And then we're going to install 2 little clock bits that look just like this. Let's see. Yeah, perfect. Just like this. One of them's going to have long hands, one of them's going to have short hands. One's black, one's gold. It's going to be fantastic, you guys. Just fantastic. So, tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwich? And I'm going to get rocking and rolling. And now, every Monday and Friday night, we like to show you every single step. So, firstly, I'd like to welcome you to Season 5 of Friday Night's Freestyle. 5 seasons. Each season having, well, the first season had like 10 episodes, and then it was like 15, and then it was 25, and then it was 25 again. So, this is Season 5, Episode 1. Welcome in, everybody. What we need to do first is go through our colors that we're going to be using today. So we have our dark sienna brown. We might not use them all, but just in case, I'll list them. Van Dyke brown, which is the darker browns, cadmium yellow, bright red, Armenian lamp black, phthalo green, yellow ochre, our purple dioxazine, sap green, dark sienna brown, which is the lighter color browns, our phthalo blue, alizarin crimson, midnight black, and then titanium white. We might not use them all, but we're going to use a fair amount of them. Now, I've been doing this greenish kind of portal deal, especially along the edges, and I found if you mark it with this little marker, it's very easy to not only line back up your portal, but be able to tell where your colors are going to go green. So, if we go that green up there, let's go into our phthalo green onto this side. Just so they'll change a bit. What about our phthalo blue in here? Covering up this little guy down there. Just a little touch. And then I'm going to kind of spread those colors all throughout. So they'll be different all throughout the thing. A little bit more of our phthalo blue. Just putting them on, stretching them. And take a little bit of our blue coming in from the top up here. Just because you want it to be everywhere. You don't want there to be any empty space on your canvas that doesn't contact some color. Otherwise, it's just going to be super bright white when you put it over there, and that's no fun. Now, let's switch brushes because we don't want to get our blue and our green onto our other brush, which is going to have it go change color. So, if we come down here into our crimson paint, oh, it's gorgeous. Now, this is a much brighter color of a dark, transparent color than the other ones, but it still stays quite dark on the canvas if you can get it and not overdo it too much. Right? Don't put too much on there. Don't put too much white onto it, and it won't interact too much, okay? Now, let's go back to that blue on our other brush, and then let's fill up the whole rest of this thing back here. And have this little bit of blue, cloudy, misty area, and then it'll turn purple with that crimson. A little bit of blue off in the back, and now I want to have a wave. And if we're going to do the wave, let's put a little bit of our green right in here for the eye and the crashing water. Boom, boom, boom. Now, you know what? Let's switch back to our crimson brush, and let's go into that brown. And we'll have a little bit of beach down here. Oh, a little bit of beachiness. So this one's going to be really neat, guys. I'm going to have some rocks. We're going to do all sorts of stuff. And it's going to be able to tell the 2 different time zones. Boy, oh boy, we're going to have some fun. Now, a little bit of our brown. And we'll be ready to light it all up with our white paint. So let's wash these brushes off. Now, we've got a brand new brush jar that, as you can see, is filled up to right here. We're only going to stick the tip of the bristles in and then wiggle. And look at all the color that comes out just from the tip. You don't have to dunk the whole brush inside, right? So, just like this, wiggle it in here, flicking it off there. It all kind of wraps around the edge of the cup and then falls down. Right? And then we take our brush and we flick it into a trash can. Just like you're going to towel whip somebody like you did back in gym class. Whoosh, whip it into a trash can like that. And then into the old beater bucket. Beat the devil out of it, right? Comes out nice and clean. Boom, 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 boom. Now, with the green, it's really going to mess up our gorgeous coloring here, right? Same thing, a little bit into the bristles. Shake it up. Watch all that color just fall right out. Spin it just out of the thing. You can see why the cup goes eventually from being clear to where we can't see through it anymore. Flick it off into a trash can. Always going to do that. And then into the bucket. Comes out nice and clean. Beat the crap out of that brush. Wow. Just crazy, guys. Dab it off on a paper towel. You always got to do that. If you forget to do that bit, you're going to be sorry. Now, let's come back up here. We're going to grab a fan brush. Just a little old guy. We don't need anything too humongous. Why don't we go with the size 10 of the GAC Doctor? These are awesome little fan brushes. I love these little fan brushes. Okay, we're going to keep this within reach. We're going to grab a 1-inch brush and the 2-inch brush just in case. We're going to keep them within reach because once you put your one hand up here, you're going to have to be able to grab everything else with your free hand. So, make sure you can reach them is all I'm saying, all right? Now, we're going to grab a little bit of a little bit of some white onto our brush. We're going to come down like this. Wiggling it down, shaking it down, wiggling and shaking and a cruising and a moving. And we're popping it over here a little bit. So we come down to this nice sharp little edge, right? It doesn't have to be crazy. Just a nice sharp little thing. Just gorgeous. So remember, guys, you got to tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwiches? Because, you know, I'm always hungry and I love to know. Now, let's come up here. Let's line our portals back up right where we had them before. This is a great idea to mark it out, Josh, beforehand. And then come back in because now we know my holes are going to be right in the center of where they should be. I don't know about you guys, but I got a problem with my holes. I had a problem with my hole. I had a problem with seeing my hole right now. Because it's hard to see this little sucker. There we go. All right. On the money. Okay. What I need to do is drill a hole into the center so I can see my hole. It just sounds bad no matter how you say it. It just sounds bad. All right. Now, once we're in here, let's go through our purple color first. Our kind of pinkish mauve-ish color. We go through that guy first. And so he retains his pinkiness. It's going to turn into blue right here. Into the green as we go around the edge. Now we're going to go up around this guy. Right? Same amount of paint on the brush. We don't need it to be a whole bright thing. We just need it to be somewhat circular around the edge. Just like that. The harder you push, the bigger your lines are going to be. Right? So let's come in here. Very thin. We got that guy. We got this guy. Stay against our edge. Right down into here. It's where they meet where it's always a little tough. Right? Shoot some little color out of the side there. Little bits. Nothing too crazy. And I don't want them to be too close together either. Sometimes you get a bit too much paint in that area. It becomes too close. Now remember, we're probably going to have some waterfalls shooting out of this thing, so it's no worries what happens. One more little touch of white paint. And let's flick it out in a different direction. We'll slide it up this way. Shooting off, just to have a little bit of coverage on the dark parts of our canvas. Just a little bit of light is all we need. We don't need it to come out too far. And remember, we're going to be popping waterfalls out of this thing. Bushes are going to be hanging over it, so it's not really the focal point of the painting. Don't worry about it too much. Come in with a 2-inch or a 1-inch, holding our portals down so we're not going inside of our lines. And anywhere that you streak out, it's going to grab that color. It's going to intermix and change and grow around the whole thing. Don't skip parts. Right? Wrap around, wrap around. We're going to have to fix that top bit when we get to it. But just like this, we can get our brush to skirt up underneath there. A little skirtage. That didn't work. In any case, we'll fix that part by the time we get there. Okay, now we're going to let go of our big portal while holding our small guy in. All right, we're going to let him go. Let him fall off to the edge. It's actually perfect. What a good idea to mark those first, Josh, because then you know you're in the right spot. Going to come down here very lightly, continuing on our little baby portal line. Bow! Now we got two little guys, all different colors. Gonna be fantastic. Now, we're going to come in here. We really got to get going if we're going to try to make this 15-minute mark. Okay, we're going to come in here, grabbing a little bit of whatever that green is, down into the blue, the phthalo green, all these colors just intermixing back and forth as we shoot it out over to the side. Right? As we do that, let's come back, get a little bit more of that. Come down through this guy, pop in a bit of that color over here, over there. It's going to let it intermix with whatever's underneath. Wherever the colors are at, that's where they're going to mix down. So we take this guy and we start to mix it. Look at all the pink it's starting to pick up from underneath. Oh, baby! Try not to come out of your portal. You want it to stay in there. It helps it make it look more round. Right? If you come out of those lines, it no longer looks rounded anymore or 3D because you came out too far. Right now, same brush. Let's come up here into the green after we dab it off on a paper towel. Into the green. And the more that you pull on it, the darker it becomes. It starts to intermix with all those other little colors down in there. Right? So wherever you had your green or your blue, wherever it was, intermixes down into these really deep, dark colors, right? Now, let's wash our brush off. Come back up here. Get this other tainted color out of here. Over there, like that. And now let's pop in another section of cloud, especially up here in the top one, right? I've worked it down from its brightest area down into this deep, dark, misty area where then you can pop in a whole nother bit of cloud and have it stand out as being in front of other said cloud because it's a bit brighter and we've got that bit of disconnect in there, right? We've got that dark disconnect, our little dark separator that's back inside there. Very cool. The more we worked it down, again, the darker and darker and darker it becomes as our light area spreads further and further and further away. Now, a little bit, let's come in and get this guy. Maybe we'll toss in just one more little thing coming up this way. Just a little puffer, little sucker right there. Pow! Nothing too big, nothing too crazy. Come in with a clean, dry brush. Right? We don't want to intermix the green and the crimson. They don't like each other. So if you can keep them separate, it's going to work out better for you. Just like that. Little puff here, little puff there. Work out little places that you don't like. Boom! Soft little bits back in there. They just end up coming out so fantastic. Just so fantastic. Let's go make this guy a bit brighter. Right in there. Right? Little brightness, little less pressure on our mixing brush, our little one inch Bob Ross landscape brush, right? It's the one that we like to use to mix them down anyway. And now you got two clouds, much different than each other, way out there in the night. Same we wanted to make our front guy a little bit brighter on the top too. Just in different places. We're gonna add a little bit of white, some over here. Let it work its way down. Work its way down over the hole. Gonna find the hole. Go back to your home. Find the hole. Over there. Who knows that golf movie reference? It's not, I mean, it is a golf movie, but it's not necessarily a golf movie. All right, over here. A little bit, let's clean off these brushes. You guys got to tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwiches? Because I am dying to know. Where are you watching from? What's your favorite sandwich? What do you like to eat? And do you know those 3 favorite colors that Josh just loves using to mix up all this crazy darkness? Do you know? These are oil paints. Thank you for tuning in and checking it out. And the fun part about these oil paints is that they stay wet for literally days, right? Stay wet for days. So you can do all sorts of things. You can go back. You can extend little bits. You can soften areas that your brush couldn't get to. Out here, out there. We're just making it soft, stretching out the color. Boom, 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 right? All these little bits. All it is an eclipse. And this light is the bit of light that's shining away from that eclipse. Right? So it's never going to be perfect all the way around. You just don't want to bring in too much of our bright color inside our eclipse. That would be bad. Don't do that. Okay, it's all locked in again. There we go. This is very cool. This is also awesome. Okay, now who knows those 3 colors that we mix up in order to create a deep darkness? So you're trying to figure out how the colors are appearing. Can you see down here? See right here where it's all wet and shiny? You can see my knife handle in the canvas down there like a reflection. See that? Perfect. I'm talking to the people on YouTube right now. See that reflection? That's because all this board is wet, right? If we touched it down here, there's like wet brown paint. If you touch it right here, there's wet crimson paint. If you touch it right here, there's wet green paint. Because we kind of installed all those colors onto the dark background prior to painting with the white. Once you come in and you paint with the white, all of those dark colors erupt and emerge from underneath, however bright you have it, right? You can brighten them up real crazy, or you can just add a little touch of white and then have them darken themselves down the further and further away it goes. It's a undercolor painting kind of technique, and it's just like a magic trick. It's literally like a magic trick. Hey, Kara, how's it going over there on YouTube? It is sorcery. It's sorcery. So, right here, guys, back to class, everybody. Get your textbooks out and pay attention. What 3 colors are we going to mix up right here in order to create our darkness for our kind of faraway, foresty, misty forest background? Those millions of trees, or at least thousands of trees, that are off in the background that we just can't see. We know they're there, we know what they are, and they're going to separate all this bright from the brightness that's going to come below it. So all we need to know is what are those 3 colors that mix up and create that deep darkness. And then I'll give you some shout outs. Who knows? Got your art books? That's awesome. Claire knows, Ari knows, Jen Ink Art knows, Adelina knows. Kath over on Facebook, very close. Mac knows. A little touch of this, a little touch of that. Little blue, little black, little crimson. Doesn't matter what you have, right? Our red, our bright red colors over here. So even though it looks like red in this pile, it's a very dark red called crimson. And you mix those guys up into this Paint with Josh black, purpley color. It's a very purplish, blackish color. That is going to cut all of our clouds in half, right? Because we can imagine, if we were to keep going and looking down without this forest being here, you would see all these other clouds back there. All right, but since we have all of our trees now blocking the bottom of the clouds and we can't tell what's happening way off in the distance, that's what you want to have it. You get that mysteriousness. Oh, it's mysterious, right? We come up here like this, a little bit of pressure, and pulling straight up. Every so often you can drag a couple little very sharp treetops that come out of there like crazy. All right, now, let's come back. Since we got the color on the brush, we can do it for this bottom guy too. Just wiggling it down, loading it up, letting the bristles spread out as we wiggle it down, intermixes, fills all those bits in. And now let's come over here and maybe we'll start popping down these little guys. The more that we go down, right, the more our brush is going to deposit the color. It's going to start to spread apart. They're not going to be as sharp as they once were. And so we can go back in, load up the brush again, a little bit thicker on our paint. And then when we come in, get the tip tops so they remain just a little tip topper, a little sharper than they were before, right? Especially when you come in with your 2H brush. Give these little streaks up like that, and you can see all these thousands of tree trunks off in the distance, right? Now, let's take our same brush. We can still go with this 2H brush. We're just going to tap in just a little bit, just on the top corner. See that? And we're not smashing the whole brush against the canvas. It's just the top corner. And as we come down, we're just trying to make the bottom softer. I want to leave the top untouched so it's nice and dark. But the more that we tap at this base, and it mixes with all these wet undercolor bits, the softer and softer it becomes, right? Kind of hits some of that last bit of our light color from our clouds and everything else. And all we're doing is just making it soft so the next layer can come down and sit upon it, right? We don't want our portal to get covered up in that mist either. Same thing one more time. You can come back in, make it a little soft and foggy. Right now, if we wanted to go add some fogginess to it, all we need to do is grab a little fan brush, come into our white, and because there's already colors underneath, right? There's crimson underneath this guy, there's green and blue underneath here. As we come up and mix into this, you get all these colors start to emerge. Now it's just up to us. How do you want to let it look? How much do you want it to blend out? How bright do you want it to be? You know what I mean? It's just a little bit of misty, foggy cloud that comes in at the base of these trees, which is why you have to separate the trees from your mist. Otherwise, your mist just looks like another cloud, right? You're going to separate your clouds from your mist. Just like that, a little bit of foggy craziness. Then if you wanted to, boom, you come in with a whole other section of forest. or whatever it is you want to throw in there, right? Now, what was I doing? A little bit of cloudiness. Forget what we do sometimes. Come over here with this brush. Say we came up into this guy. Just mixed him all up, all crazy. Twist the brush, rotate it. Come over here, drop some color. Here, there, and everywhere. All right, switch back to that brush that had the crimson-y and the blue paint on it. Come back into here. Start to mix it down. Now, depending on how much white we put on the canvas, it could remain very bright. And so you mix it, you mix it, you mix it. You start pulling some of that dark color from our trees down into the mist. Right, get this cool little thing out there. Just a soft little bit of fogginess at the base of our trees, right? Now, here comes the fun part. What do you want to do? Do you want to have a waterfall? Do you want to have 2 or 3 waterfalls? What do you want to have in your painting? Okay, we come back here with a little bit of paint onto our brush. And now, instead of using the whole brush, I'm going to turn the brush on the side. So it's like a knife. Instead of using it this way to go down, we're going to turn it very sharp. Right? That way we can have a very small little thing and then drop off a very small little waterfall. And then we can decide, maybe with just a corner, we can make this guy a little touch bigger. Touch bigger, turn it over with the new corner, drop it down. This little teeny tiny thing, way off in the distance, right? Pull this guy back. That's the river that leads up over the edge, and we're going to end up covering it with a big old tree. So don't worry about painting the whole thing. I spent many years and many paintings painting the entire river, the waterfall, then adding rocks, and then coming up and adding a tree over it and going, why am I making all this mud? Oh, I've got too much paint on my canvas, right? You don't have to paint every single detail. I'm telling you, from 1,104 paintings. That's how many paintings are done. 1,104. This is the fourth. The 11th. It's crazy. Now, back in here, we could have... He's going to fall out that way. Yeah, let's do off of this guy too. A little bit wider. We're going to use the whole brush right here because this guy's closer. So we can imagine we'd see more water coming off. We'd come down here. We'd hit into all this pink mist. Oh, baby. That looks cool. That looks cool. Now, come back with that crimson-y brush, right? We got one brush for this circle, one brush for that circle. Because the colors don't like each other, they will go like this gray crap color that you really don't want because they don't like to mix. Right? They're non-complementary to themselves. They don't want to mix together. Bang. Little softness over there. Little softness for our other guy. Now, come back in a little bit of white. Just the same little pile that we keep pulling down into. Flip the brush over, flip it over, flip it over. How many times can you flip it over without dropping it? Right? Just like that. Leaving a little dark space underneath. And we're going to come out here. Say we hit. Got to go very straight across. Say we hit. And we're like, oh no, let's turn this way. Bigger and bigger and bigger as we start coming to our edge. Okay? Not every little piece has to be shown or painted or whatever. We're going to have big old trees that intermix. Okay, now once we come out here and we get larger and larger and larger, we can take our brush and then deposit over our waterfall. It's just going to fall out of our thing back there. Of course, we're going to make it a lot brighter. Now, let's go back in. Since again we've got the paint on the brush, we'll come over to this guy, leaving a small little disconnect underneath. And again, he gets wider and wider and wider until he can fall right out. Right? Again, we're going to go back and light it up and make it look a lot brighter. So, just to show you what it's going to look like so far, let's come in here with that green brush. We're going to go into our white, into our sap green, and then what other color do we use, class? White, sap green, and then what other color over here do we use in order to create our grassy mix of a color that we like to use? What are those 3 colors? It's a different 3-color question. Exactly. Claire, cosmicological canvas knows. Everybody knows. Little bit of yellow, right? Little green, little white, little touch of yellow in there. And now we're going to come down with my hand down here. I'm not pushing straight onto the canvas with the brush. Down there like that. So we're just contacting this side that's got all the color on it. Tap down a couple little bits. Leaving a little bit of darkness in between our grass and our actual water bit back there. Now, say we can't see it. Like, oh no, it's not bright enough. It's coming to a little bit more yellow. Right? And the yellow will bring it to life, not the white. Not for grass, anyway. Little taps, a couple little things, and all of a sudden, it's much more bright and gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Remember, you gotta leave this dark little line underneath your river and your land. Otherwise, it won't make sense, guys. It won't make sense. Now, since we've got the green, ooh, do we tempt fate or do we go with the pinky grass? I think we're going to go with pinky grass. Oh, man. I freaking love that green grass color. All right, let's get this color off the brush. Let's switch it up. We'll go with like a pinkish, crimson-y, grassy color. Ooh, you know what we've never done? Like a yellowy wheat-style grass. Let's do that instead. Let's come in here. A little bit of our cad yellow. Sorry, yellow ochre. Little touch, little white. Just a baby bit, teeny tiny bit of green. Little, smallest little bit of green. Mostly the cad yellow. Right in there. Let's see what this looks like. Come in. Ooh, I like it. It's like dead brown grass. Oh, that's fabulous. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's fabulous. All right, let's come back here, brighten it up a little bit. A little bit more of the yellow oak. Come in. Little taps, little taps, little taps. Now I'm going to go back to the cad yellow. It has that much brighter bit, right? Little baby bits in here. Using it like a little pivot point, and then I'm going to go back and soften over these little guys. Oh, yeah. Oh, I like that difference right there. Very cool. Very cool. It doesn't always have to be the same color, right? Never has to be exactly the same color. Not to cover up our little portal lines too much. There we go, Joshy. Now, we need to take this brush, now that it's nice and clean, and soften our river bits. Our river runs through it. My older fans might know that movie reference. It was a movie my mom used to watch, or I watched with my mom. Like, you know, it was on. I was like, what the hell is this movie? A river runs through it. Had like Brad Pitt in it, I think. Okay, we're gonna come back over here. A little bit of white. Over there, over there. Flipping the brush over. Much thicker white now as we come out to make our waterfalls, all right? So we're gonna go over to the side, down. Over to the side, down. Each time it turns our brush instantly to whatever color is underneath. So wipe that sucker off. Come back over a little bit more of our white. One more time. Over, down, over, down. This crazy bit of water falling off the edge. Now these little guys, you just pull straight off to the side. Just straight back, and we're depositing just a little bit of white, and it looks like, or it's going to look like anyway, that the water gets up to the edge, gets all rumbly, and then falls over. You can tap up at it like this. A little bit of crazy, a couple little crazy bits is all you need. Little things, little different areas. Bit of brightness here, bit of darker area there is all you really need. Okay, bang, shows our water wheeling up to the edge, rolling over the side. Very cool. Come over here with our 2-inch brush. Just take it, soften it down. Hey, a couple little soft bits. Pull those guys off to the back. Very cool, very gentle, very easy thing to do. All right, over here, loading up our brush again with a little bit more white. Like this, coming off of this guy. We don't need this guy to go down very far because we're going to have our ocean scene right here. I'll probably come down way too far already, but in any case, we're still going to rock and roll with it. We're going to rock and roll with it. A couple little whiter bits, right? Just looks like our water's ruffling up as it rolls over the side. And then we're going to cover over the areas that we don't want to see. Now, let's come back to our dark color, and we're going to start up in our top portal over here. A little bit of our Paint with Josh plaque as we mix down. Get that bit of skin out of there. Yeah, came off the brush. Okay, we're going to pull it down from way up here, just way out of our portal, straight down through the back of the waterfall. And all of a sudden, what makes this tree now stand out as in front of the tree that was once behind all those other little things? What makes this guy stand out in front of everybody? So you cover up some of that waterfall, and now you don't have to paint the whole rocky waterfall bit because you knew you were going to come put a massive tree right in the front anyway, right? Don't have to do every single thing, not trying to cover every bit. The mist. You guys are right. Now, remember, guys, after this show, I'm going to try to make it done by 8:15. After this show, all of us are going to go over to the Glitterwick stream over on TikTok. She's going to be pouring orders over there. Oh, that's going to be fabulous. She's going to be pouring all the orders that she's got that are outstanding over there. She's outstanding. You guys are outstanding. You've been outstanding in supporting her small business. And it's just awesome. You guys bring a tear to my eye. So we're all going to go check out Glitterwicks right after this show. All of my audience is going to head over there. I have a little sticky tree off in this guy. Now this dude over here, we're gonna have a little pine tree right there, off the edge. A lot of our thick dark paint. Come up and we start our little taps just along the corner of the brush, right? The more you go down, the more brush ends up contacting the canvas, and then you start popping up out and away from our center of our trunk, right? About equal on each side. You don't have to come all the way down because we're gonna put some bushes there too. Whoo, this one's looking good, guys. Now, one more. Do we have enough paint on our brush for one more little tree right over here just to cover this guy? Again, I don't want to come all the way out of the portal with him. Right there. A couple little taps. The trunk is just for reference. And then you go back in and you start tapping out, smashing down. The more we go down, the more we smush. And the more you get down, the fatter your tree is going to look down at the base. Boom, 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 boom. Look at him. Oh, just brings him right out into the foreground, guys. Just so perfectly. Now, we are out of paint, so we're going to need to mix up a bit more of that dark color mix. So what are those 3 dark colors that we like to use? Red Wing, this one's available, dude. It's available. Unicorn Dust Supply is here. I'm wondering what's the status of all my cups from the Unicorn Dust Supply. What are the status of the cups as we come in here? A little of our black, a little of our crimson, a little of our blue paint. Doesn't matter what brand, doesn't matter what shade. Just black, crimson, and blue, and you'll make the paint with Josh black. Right? Well, I mean, I guess it does matter. I'm not using lamp black here. The lamp black from our Meaden set is like the darkest paint I've ever found. This is the Midnight Black from Bob Ross, which is like a very dark purpley paint almost. It's not completely black. Now, since we've mixed up a bit more, let's go into our bushy brush right down here. We've been live for just about 30 minutes, so if you're just tuning in, where have you been? You've been missing 30 minutes of the show. 30 whole minutes! You could have been here, man. We start the same time every day. How come you're not here? You disappoint me. So disappointing. Down, 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 down the hanging gardens of Joshua. Come in here, pop into this guy. Right, got our little dudes. Maybe they'll interact and overlap. But we're not going to try to let our bush grow into our tree too much. I'd rather have her grow out over the waterfall versus grow into my tree. Keep a little bit of space in between there. Our last bit of our paint. Let's come up here. Tap in little things. All right, we'll let it rock and roll down. Tap, 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 tap. Little baby bits. Now, perfect. Let's come in for some branches off of that guy. And in order to do that, we're going to need to find our giant Paint with Bram liner brush. This liner brush is 97 miles long. It's long enough to get from here to New York City in the blink of an eye. It's like it's faster than a speeding paintbrush. It's just really insanely long. And we all thought he was crazy when he brought this brush out. We're like, no one is going to use that in your wildest dreams. And Paint with Josh has shown that it's literally probably one of the best brushes around. I cannot find a better liner brush than this old guy right here. Straight up over there. It makes the longest, kinkiest, craziest, sharpest, just most insanest branches that you're ever gonna see. Boom! Just anywhere you want to go, they're everywhere. Everywhere with that Paint with Bram liner brush. So go get your set. He's got like a set of 5 brushes. I use the other ones as well. Still got the 2-inch brush. I use it all the time. So, and the 1-inch brush, Paint with Bram. Excellent little brushes. Now, we got to come in here, add a little bit of our clouds. So we're going to need our brush that has our white paint back on it. Come up here, a little touch, not too much. You can always add more. You can never what? You can never what? Let's come in here, all these undercolors. Oh, baby. Woo, baby. A little bit of cloudy action. Now we're going to let this paint grow down. Just a little touch. Just a smidge. Take it over here. I don't want it to grow too far down into my ocean scene. So we're going to try to cut it off right at the base, right there. Just very small little clouds on this guy because I always run out of room when I try to make my water. Always running out of room. I know you guys too. You guys do too. Just to let you know, I run out of room as well on some paintings, right? Things just start looking so good and then they take off on us, literally. Very cool. Now, here we go. My favorite part. Let's get to highlighting all these things and then we'll go do our ocean scene. come in here, a little bit of our white, a little bit of our brown, mix those guys up. You don't want it to be too bright. Too bright is, nah, it's not very good. Right, a little bit over there, a little touch here, a little touch there. Boom, snake up over there, there, little touches. That's all you gotta have, right? You're not trying to show the entire bit of our tree versus this guy. Which way is all of our light gonna come from this? Let's go from this side. We'll put all of our light on the left. So we're just gonna take it, touch it, move upward. That's it. Little dabs. Don't even have to go all the way to the top. Just taking a little bit of that brown, touching at our tree, and letting it pull away. Right? So you have this barky feel. We're not trying to cover every single branch with every single bit of this light color. And every so often, it'll take your eye and have it look out in another way. Right? You'd be like, oh, I didn't even see the branch was all the way up there until my eyes followed that bit of color all the way out to the tip top. Very cool, guys. I like it. I like it. Yes, right there. That's what we want to see. Now, let's come back in, grab a much smaller fan brush, because if you don't know, that's the secret to paint with Josh trees. You use a big old brush to highlight your trees, right? And then a little teeny tiny guy, big old brush to make the shapes, and then a little teeny tiny guy to go back and highlight them with, right? Now, we're going to come over here, tapping onto these guys, and then off of the right-hand side, I'm going to dump off a little bit of this color. Don't want it to be too bright. Not going to see every single piece in a nighttime scene. We roll our way down, turning it over, back and forth, bringing some of that color along the dark side. And again, you're not going to see every piece. It's a nighttime dark scene. You don't want to see every single bit as brightly as you're going to see it during the daytime, for goodness sake. Right? At least not in my painting, you're not. I like a nice, dark, mysterious scene. It's got to be mysterious. Come off of this guy. Again, going to work down on his bright side first. So we're going to come down here, tapping little bits. Each time that we touch that darkness, it's intermixing onto our brush and causing our brush to get a little bit darker. A little bit darker and a little bit darker. So then when we come over here to our shadowy side, it's not going to be as bright a paint because we've already let it tap onto all those bits. And then we're not going to cover every single piece. Right? If we cover every single bit of the dark color, or every single bit of the trunk, or every single bit of each branch, then nothing is going to stand out. And if nothing stands out, then what's the point of it all? You got to have something standing out there away. Get a little bit of yellow into this guy. What's up, love? That's a massive fan.
I know, I got it at Disney.
That's it. Oh, yes, I remember.
My face is so cold.
So the game was boring?
Yeah, it was like really long for no reason. Like, the boys lost.
Sports.
The boys lost. It was like 15 to 35 or 31.
Woo! Get their butts kicked in.
And then the girls, it was like 14 to 2.
Wow.
It was so bad.
But your girls' team won.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So 2 for the other school.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They suck so much.
Wow. 2 points. All right, let's come over here. Make this guy just a couple little bits brighter in certain places. Right there. That's what we want to see. Pop, 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 pop. Little baby bits. Now, we're going to come back over here. Going to highlight our bushes and stuff. And then it's going to be very cool. Throw in that seascape. Shouldn't take too long. And then we can do the clocks and stuff. Well, we might actually want to do the clocks prior to the ocean scene, actually. Maybe. But in any case, let's come over here. We're going to grab up a little bit of that yellow, a little bit of our green with our liquid white in that pile already, and come off of these guys. Very light little touch. Not trying to cover every single bit. You have to leave some of those deep, dark areas in there. All right, so if all of our light's on this one side, little tiny touches. If you want to make it a bit brighter, just go back with the straight on yellow. Little baby bits, nothing crazy. Nothing too nutty. All right, tap these guys down, 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 down to Portal Town. Over here, little taps, little taps, little taps, little taps. Softer as you get back, less. as you go back away from your light. You go less and less and less little taps. All right? Just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. All right, now, let's come over here. Let's see. I'm going to wash off some of these brushes, and then I'm going to make, you guys got to help me make a decision. Should I add the clocks first, right? Or should we finish the painting and add the clocks at the end? You want to see how to do the clock right now? Or do you want to see the clocks at the end, and I can do the seascape bit right now? You got to let me know. Let me know. Finish, do it at the end, they say. Finish the painting first. That's not what I thought you guys were going to say. Add the clocks first. There's one person over on YouTube. Man, this painting, look at the colors. Holy crap. Looking at it from back here. Like sometimes when you're up close, you're too close to the project. You know what I mean? But back here, whew, holy moly. We need to tell them that there's holes in the canvas. That's funny. That's funny. Of course there's holes. We're about to make some clocks here. But we'll do it at the end. Let's finish up the seascape. That's what everybody wants to see. So while I'm cleaning off these brushes, you gotta let me know where you're watching from and what is your favorite sandwich. Let me know. I'm like a spicy Italian kind of a guy myself. I love a good spicy Thai. What about you guys? You like what? Just a roast beef, ham and turkey Swiss. What's your go-to deli sandwich? What is your go-to deli sandwich? If you're like, you know what? I need a hoagie, and I need it on, you know, with some bacon and cheesesteak. I don't know. Whatever your favorite is. It could be weird. You guys are weird. I don't know. You watch me, so you must be weird. If you're watching me, you must be some sort of weirdo. Because that's fine, because I'm weird too. It's all good. We're all weird. What's your favorite gross sandwich? It's so funny when people are like, people from Australia or other parts of the world, they'll say something like, oh, I love Vegemite or Marmite or something. And it's like, oh. Jelly and cheese, says Glitterwix. Whoo! Glitterwix, did you get my message? Is it okay if I go till 8:15? I'm not sure that I could do the whole thing and finish at 8 on this one. Excuse me. Excuse me, y'all. All right, let's come in here. A lot smaller brush. Remember, I like starting out with a small little brush if we're going to do a little seascape back here. And all of our white paint still, we're going to be good to go. Are you guys ready to see an ocean scene? Are you ready? Subway's chicken bacon ranch on Italian bread toasted, please. Says Sweet Ashes 07. Peanut butter and jelly, dude. Did that say pickle and peanut butter? What's up, Liz? What you doing? Thanks for interrupting my show. Appreciate it. I'm just kidding, girls. All right. Now, we're going to come in here a little bit of our white. Over here, we need to decide. We got this far off little bit of ocean, but instead of painting any back ocean in this one, we're just going to go with the mustache shade. First little guy. Little mustache. Little mustache. Send this guy off to the races. How far back can you go? Right? All from the tip top of that point. Out there. Over to the side. Just like so. Right, come back in with one of our 1-inch brushes. Make it soft. Softly does it. Glitterwix, is that okay? I didn't see your comment. If I go till 8:15. Anyone? No? Can someone pin her response? Now, this is when we're going to come in with our big monster crasher. Normally we do 2 little mustaches and then the monster. But this time, monster crasher right off the bat. So we're going to go into our biggest, giantest thing right here. We're going to come down, streaking it through, right through this guy, making sure that we contact both those colors. Now, we can pick a little bit of white and slide it back all the way to that last bit of green back there, but we don't want it to touch, right? And as we get over here, we turn more and more and more because why? We've got our little what over there? What's that little spot called, guys? over on our seascape. Come up on this guy over here, and we tab at it. And roll it over, right? And then come up again with the brush contacted. Let it roll. Just literally roll it out. Let it roll off the brush. Flip it over. Come down. The more and more and more we go, the more our wave looks like a wave, right? If you wanted it to be like real big, come down further and further and further and further and further. All depends on what you want yours to look like. That's how I used to do them back in the day. Before we did the little rotational spin, right? We flip that guy off here, creating our next little what, guys? What's that thing called again? I forget. That one little point. I have a word, a very special word for it. We call it a what point? I forget, guys. What is it? A pivot point, says Claire. You know it. You know it. You know it. Everybody knows it. Come down here with a little bit of white. Just a little bit. That extra thick white paint just to have it look like the water's kind of crashing over the top. Right there, a little bit off of our edge. A little bit down into the center. Just a little touch though, so it's a little bit different. That's all we need it to be. Be a little bit brighter than the whole rest. Very lightly soften this guy. Pulling it out in the same directional bits. Right? Nothing has to be perfect. Nothing's got to look exactly like you want it to. Not every time, anyway. Now, say we came down in here. We're going to need to raise up our canvas. You guys are literally wearing so much perfume in there that it's choking me out one room away. I just want you to know that.
Sorry.
I'm telling you, you don't need to wear that much.
Yeah, Alyssa.
Yeah, if I can smell you
She's
over...
gonna spray more.
If I can smell you over the paint thinner, that I'm literally standing right over paint thinner.
It's her grandma perfume.
Yeah, well, her grandma perfume is very strong. I'm talking about, don't, get that out of here. Get out of my, we need that crap in here. All right, we're going to come down off of this guy. All right, after I go, I might have to go unalive some kids here in a little bit. We may need to do something about these children. Up like this, and make this guy a little bit taller to match those angles back there. There we go. He's coming down over here. Boom, boom, boom. Now, perfect, okay? Once we come down and we hit at our base down here, we can start making these little sideways gestures over here. Come up and line up with our little wave, right? Of course, your wave can look however you want it to look. Say you want it to come down here, filling in all that little space, and you're like, Josh, this doesn't look like a wave. And I'm like, guys, just wait. Just wait. Just give me a second. Pulling off in the other direction. As we come over here and come over there. Boom, boom, boom. Now, with the same brush, I'm going to wipe it off one time. We're going to add a little bit of our eye color right into the center. So you have that transparency. Go back. Mix it down. Very lightly. Trying to get it as close as we possibly can to this next bit of color. Right? That last little bit of color right there. If we can just get so close without it touching, right, without them over mixing too much and having it remain nice and bright like that, then that's going to be your money maker right there. That little bit, that tiny little teeny tiny dark separator right there. It's going to be your money maker, I'm telling you. Now, here's the fun part. We come in with a bit of white off of our brush, just like this, coming in, and they're very long, kind of straight up little ramp streaks, like you're going to launch off like Evel Knievel, right? And then the more that you get in there, the tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter these little streaks start getting. Bang, bang, bang. How tightly do you want them to roll in on your wave? Totally up to you. Bring them out like this, rolling it down, 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 down. Now, all of a sudden, you've got this whipping wave over here. Just wicked. Wicked. That's the best part about this thing. All you're doing is adding white paint. Right? Just adding white and letting it intermix with whatever colors are on the canvas. Just perfect. Just perfect. Okay, now let's make that sandy color. We're going to wipe off our brush, come over here, grab a bit of white, a bit of our yellow ochre, and then a bit of our cadmium yellow as well. Okay, now underneath, just about a 1/4 inch underneath these guys, we're going to light it up. Light it up, light it up, light it up. Pulling it down, pulling it down. Now, be honest. Does this look like sand? You can be honest and say no. If you don't think it does, then you can say no. It's not going to hurt my feelings. I'm not going to hurt my feelings because I'm going to tell you, class, we have 3 things to do. We're going to do 3 things to this sand. So if it doesn't look like sand right now, then that's okay. That's okie dokie, right? what we're going to do, I'm going to give you the answers. Okay, we're going to pull down, then we're going to swipe one way, and then we're going to swipe the other way. So here's the first question. I've already given you the answer. When we pull down, do we do it with an insanely huge amount of pressure, or just like the lightest little pressure you've ever done it with? Just what do you think? Lots of pressure or little pressure? What do you think, guys? Because right now it looks like a pile of butt, if you ask me. Crystal says a lot. Someone else said hard. Claire. Bonnie says a lot of pressure. Lots and lots and lots of pressure. Everyone says a lot. Looks like you guys have been watching the show a lot, right? Okay, we're going to pull down with a fair amount of pressure, because if you do it too lightly, it's not going to change what it looks like. Pull this guy down like this. If we can get him like out onto the edge. Ooh, here we go. Oh God, this is so dangerous. So dangerous. There we go. Okay, lots of pressure all the way down. Now, we've got to swipe it out one way and swipe it in the other way. So, do we swipe it towards the wave first, or do we swipe it away from the wave first? You got to let me know in the comments. And remember, all 310 of us are going to go over and watch the Glitterwick stream right after this. And you guys on TikTok, you disappoint me with this number right here. That is a pitiful number. Pitiful, pitiful, pitiful number of taps on the screen. I just want you guys to know. 42,000. We've been going for 52 minutes. That's not even 1,000 a minute. That's heart-wrenching to me. You guys just don't like me, apparently. Nobody likes me anymore, B.
Oh.
Because they don't tap on the screen. It's fine. All the Facebook people like me. The YouTube crew. Maybe we just won't stream to TikTok anymore. That's a good thing. Sure, go ahead. Don't get, keep your phone on and put a jacket on and stay in, where we can see you. All right. Enough of the interruptions from the kiddos. Okay. We're going to take this guy and we're going to pull it with a lot of pressure, again, away from the wave. Okay, making it more kind of glassy and soft looking. And then you've got this funky looking separation in here. And so what we then do is push this light color back in towards your wave until you are happy with the amount of separation down here. And it kind of lifts our wave up so it can roll across that sand very easily. Right now, does that look more like sand than it did before? Oh, so good. Way more, says Huck5. Way more. I agree. Now, let's come down. We need to mix up a bit of our darkness again. Actually, we don't. It's already right here. But you guys got to tell me, what are the three colors that are right here that I'm mixing my brush into? It makes up Paint with Josh plaque. So what are those three colors? And the reason we do it, you see that dark separation line right there? We kind of attach ourselves right as the wave starts rolling over, tapping up into it, right? When they come down, not trying to cover over all of our little dark spot down there. That's the money maker. That's the honey hole, as they say. Over here, we tap up a little bit more, go a little bit more crazy. Remember, you guys are gonna have to come up with a name for this painting. You're gonna have to help me come up with a name for it anyway. If it doesn't get purchased, then I gotta be the one that comes up with a name, and I need your guys' help to do that. A little bit of that darkness just underneath in our dark separator spot. Doesn't have to go all the way, but just like that. Now let's come back in with our liquid white onto our fan brush, into our titanium white. And we're gonna do this twice, class. We're gonna come in here, and I wanna ask you a question. Can you just use the liquid white, or do you have to have the titanium white as well in that mix? Or can you just get away with one or the other? Can you just use the liquid white? Can you just use the titanium white? Do you have to have both, Josh? Do you have to? Well, class, can you answer that question for me? Can you tell me what the answer to that one is? Do we need to have both paints? Or can you just get away with one? You guys gotta let me know, because I'm just up here pretending I know what's going on. All or neither. Both, says LaDonna. Wanda, Lovely, Catherine. When worlds collide, says Nick. That's very cool. Very cool. I'm surprised somebody didn't jump on this one. It is gorgeous. Which is fine. I need something to take down to the gallery. I've been on like a selling streak. And my paintings down at the gallery need to be kind of updated a little, right? Now, even though we've just taken and smooshed on all this bit of white off of our brush, what have we left in between all those little white splotches? Right? What have we left? We have a very specific word for it. 2 words, actually. 1 syllable, first word, 1 syllable, right? Not light, but okay. And then second word, I know you're not supposed to talk, okay. No. 4 syllables, right? What's that word called? I don't even know my own thing. Dark separator, says Katie, Kimberly, Catherine. Oh, the ether. That's a cool title. Crystal knows. Everybody knows the dark separator. You guys all over on Facebook. You guys rock. Everybody over on YouTube. Holy crap. For the first time, I actually look over and there's just as many likes as we have people watching on YouTube, which normally doesn't happen. You guys are normally slacking. So, thank you for that. Let's come in here. We're going to grab up our nice dry brush. And we're going to do this twice, okay? That was our first time. Now we're going to come in here. We're going to very lightly start to mix it down. And all that liquid white really wants to grow. So don't spend too much time in one spot. Right? We mix it, mix it, mix it, mix it. Not all the way up. Not everything has to look exactly the same. And there's still even a little bit of that dark shadowy color underneath the gray. Right? Now, let's come back and do it one more time. Here's round 2. We come back with a little bit of our liquid white back onto the brush again. Into the titanium white pile. Getting on both sides of the brush, dabbing it in, then we come up in here and we start our little slippy slappy tappy taps. And our tippy tappy slappy tappy tippies. And put them over there and we just start smashing. Come back, get a little bit more paint and we're up here and we're just hitting it everywhere. It's all over the place. But even though we've just done this again for the second time, what have we left in between all those little bits? What have we left? You guys gotta let me know. While I try to get some of these brushes clean. And remember, we're all gonna go check out Glitterwix right after the show. Have you ever seen more gorgeous candles be poured in your entire life than watching a Glitterwix show? Never! Never in your life. What was the question I asked? Maybe your guys' answers will, yes, exactly. Dark separators. I remember now. Right, so we're going to come in here. This is round 2, and then we throw paint at it for the last round. Okay, very lightly this time. Barely touching any little bits. Sometimes we skip whole areas, right? This whole side, that bit, those little sections up there. Didn't even touch them. Come down over here. Boom, boom, boom. That's it. Bang, done. That's it. And now, final part and my most favoriteest part about the whole thing. We're going to come in here with our bit of white, our liquid white on the end, right off the side, right over there. Okay, now we're going to drag our brush through the palette. So it's going to bend back our bristles, and then when they launch forward, they spray out all of this water. Look at this. Boom! Boosh! Just crazy, right? You can always go back and add more, so don't go too crazy off the bat. Boom, boom, boom. Come back in a little bit more, a little bit heavier. Little streaks, little blobs, little shooters, everywhere. Boom, 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 boom. Just all over. The more little splashes that you put in there, the more depth that it gives it, because you have to look past all of these little splashy bits to then see, pow, all of our waves and our little bits of stuff that we didn't even touch. Remember those little places that we were given our little bits of bigger details that we didn't even touch, and we just kind of went over them? That's all we got to do. Bang, bang, boom. Try not to cover up all of our bit back there. And out into our sky. Let's throw some stars on this guy out here. A couple little bits in the top. Just like that, guys. Fantastic. Excellent, excellent, excellent. A couple little bits of water underneath our waterfalls. They would be spritzing off something, I would imagine. Just throw it everywhere, Josh. Oh, I like it. Oh, I like it, baby. All right, now we got to put these clocks together. Do these clocks. So, this one, we're going to have to come up with a name for it, because I guess it's not going to get purchased, and that's fine. What am I doing with this knife? Where's my... there we go. And that's fine. Not every painting gets purchased. We understand that. I totally get it, bro. I get it. This is what I do for a living, though. So I come up here, I show you guys how to do awesome stuff for free. 5 nights a week. For free 5 nights a week. And every so often, one of you guys buys one of my paintings. Keeps me in business, keeps you guys learning. So thank you for that. I very much appreciate you. And we got 2 brushes to clean up. Clean the palette off. And we'll be all set. And then we can get ready for the next show. Now, our next show on TikTok, it's only on TikTok, is going to be another little clock. So we have a 15-inch wooden black plaque, I guess. It's a wooden black plaque that we're going to put black plaque paint on. And I turn them into clocks. So very much like the one that we do here, except this is a whole canvas board versus the other one, which is just a disc. Oh, it's actually behind here. You'll see it in a second. It's actually behind the canvas right now. So let me finish washing these guys off. You give me some names. What are we going to call this one? Let me know. I'll finish these last 2 little brushes. All right. This, that. Wash this guy dry. Dry him off over here. There we go. Speaking of Glitterwix candles, guys. Just the most amazingest candles you ever did see. All right, I'm going to show you guys right here. This is the one that's called, what's it, Legal in Vegas, or It's Legal in Vegas. It's supposed to smell like a certain plant that's legal in Vegas. It's a very good smell. I'm not sure that it is exactly what I thought it was going to be, but it is a gorgeous smell. Don't get me wrong on that. Beautiful smell. All right, what was I doing? I just saw something in my head. I got to put my birds in this, I know. And I got to sign it, I know that. Beth Ann just bought this? Shut your face. Shut your face. Cha-ching, baby. Yes, I know there are holes in my canvas. Boom! So we're going to have to tell or let... we're going to have to help Beth Ann come up with a name for her painting, and let's get to putting these little suckers together. So, first thing we're going to do is do our big guy, because he's the most available as far as thingy. Now, Beth Ann, if you ever need to replace the battery on these things, they're very simple to do. Very simple little thing. These clocks. And all you're going to have to do is spin your painting around off the wall and pop out the old battery and put in the new one. Now, each one of these motors is $11.99. You can get them at Michael's. I went and got these ones. They're just fine and dandy for everything that we need. Everything. And they come in all sorts of different sizes and depths and different bits. I'm trying to find one that's not so long. Oh, I like this one better. Okay, cool. This one, this is what we're going to use for Beth Ann. Beth Ann, we're going to use this one with the ornate-looking little hands for our big clock. Now, I changed it from the one that was so long right here. You can get them to be up to 3/8 or 3/4 inches. And some of the times that's way too long for our little boards. So, I like these smaller guys, the 1/4 inch ones, or the 3/8 ones. And they're much better for what we're trying to use them for anyway. If you're trying to go through a thick piece of wood, you need a big, thick, a long, thick piece to go through that wood. So we're going to pop him off. Pop off our little washer. Put this guy through. I've done so many of these clocks now. It's like, I can do them like clockwork. Clockwork! Like clockwork, he said! This guy's crazy! He said like clockwork. Oh, shoot! Wow, that was a close one. That was a close one. Why don't we scoot over just a bit? Haha, that's going to be much easier. You guys just saw a close encounter of the turd kind right there. And that was very close to falling all the way down. Now we're just going to take my little fingerprint that we made out of here. Just very lightly. Now you'll never know. Never even know it was there. All right. Who got scared when that thing started to fall? Who crapped their pants? Did you crap your pants? Me too. All right. Come over here. Where's this thing? There we go. Right through the edge. Then we're going to stick our washer on. And then we got our little nut that goes on there. Just like this. Holding it from the back. Making sure that it's nice and straight. You don't want it to be off center, otherwise you're not going to be able to tell the right time. Just like this. Back in here. Perfect. Here's the gloves. One at least. Over here. Just like this. You guys. Alright. What we need to do first is get rid of that little clock that's back there holding up this stuff. It's making my job a lot more difficult to do. So give me 2 seconds. We're going to take this guy down. It's always easier to do on a table, but that's not what I'm going to do. I'll take out this guy. This is my next canvas. We're going to paint on this clock next. So if you're in the market for a clock, get ready for that one. Okay, let's put this guy back up here now. What a mess this show is today. Back up here, over there, come down, hold me in. So now we don't have to stress about it. And there we go. Now we can make this guy nice and tight. Now you obviously don't want to touch your painting right here. And if you do, it's very easily fixable. But, with a little pair of pliers, come over here. Now remember, we got about 9 minutes until the Glitterwick show starts. So, do you think Josh will finish in 9 minutes, or do you think he'll be late? What do you think? Nice and tight right there. Okay. Now, go back, touch up this one little space. Right there, that little bark. Boom, boom, boom. Perfect. Over here, over there. Now, once we've got that guy on, our hour hand comes first. These are like big, like ornate looking little hands. Very fancy. Just oh so they're bougie-ish. Very bougie-ish. And the plastic doesn't ever want to come off my hand. Come over here. You have to force it on there with a little bit of pressure. First things first, you want to take off this little nut. Get that guy out of the way. Come here, little buddy. There we go. Now, a lot of pressure it takes to pop these guys on. You can pop them on and pop them off. If you ever need to take them off, you could change it to bigger hands. It is possible. They hurt your fingers pulling them off, but it does come off. If you ever wanted to change the hands or whatever, be ready for like some finger ache, but they do come off. Just have to do it in order. And remove the nut. Right, that first one, the hour hand is just a compression fitting. And then this guy is, you slide him over the thing, and once he goes on there, then you have to lock him down with this nut. That tiny nut that you have to take off, and lock him back down with this guy. Then your second hand goes into this nut. Super easy. Okay, first thing I want to do though is hold my hour hand while I spin this just finger tight as much as I can get it. And that way the minute hand won't become loose. We take our last little guy like this, our second hand, pop him in. Boop. Again, just with pressure, sits in there like that. Now, that's our first one. Let's get our little second guy out right over here. Little second guy. Now this guy's got little gold hands on him, so he stands out a bit more. And the same size, same little bit of, or same nut, same washer. Everything about it is exactly the same, except the hands are a bit different on this guy. This guy's got smaller little gold hands versus the other one, which has the black hands. And they're a lot larger anyway. Stick our clock through here, just like that, in the center. First goes on the washer, then comes the nut. Just tighten it down as tight as we can get it, and then we use our pliers to really make sure it's on there. And you're really going to want to make sure that your clock is vertical if you're, you want to make sure it's straight in the back before you tighten it down there into your finished look, right? Because if it ain't finished, and if it's not straight up, then your time won't be telling the right time. I got to check this one. There we go. There we go. Looking good, looking good. Right there. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Last little touch up on our bit of mist right along the edge. Oh, just like so, guys. That's it. Now, these ones, like I said, they're a lot smaller, but they're gold. They're gold, and the gold will stand out. We only got 5 minutes left. Remember, guys, we're all going to go over to Glitterwick's stream right over on TikTok right after this show. That's where I'm going to be. I'm going to be in the comments. I'm going to be watching the show. I'm going to be commenting. I'm going to be there to chit-chat with you all and tell you what's coming up next for the next painting. And so, I'm telling you, they friggin' hurt your fingers, but they do come off, and you can change the hands if you ever wanted to or needed to. I think I damaged or something. They're very, very, very thin metal, and they bend very easily. Very easily. So, over here, I'm going to have our little nut, because our little nut locks this dude down. And just like this, attach him. Always hold it from the back. Never try to just push it on there. You might break the whole thing. Just like that. Come back in with our little nut. And then what we're going to do is we're going to test it and make sure that it swings freely around without hitting the hour hand on both of those guys. So if we came around, see how we contacted the hour hand right there? So this guy needs to go a little bit inward. That guy needs to come a little bit outward. And then we won't be contacting something on this dude. Go through it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Alright guys, well, what do we come up with for a name for this beauty? You gotta let me know the name for that guy. And of course, we gotta finish off this old guy with a little second hand. And like I said, you can pull these off and change the hands if you wanted to. They're just a freaking pain in the butt. They're really tightly on there. So, if you change the hands, no returns. No returns. This little guy. There. This little guy. Right here. Oh, he doesn't go in. There we go. Beauty. We're ticking. We're rocking and rolling, guys. And we made it just in time for London's stream. How about that? Just in time for London's stream. Look at that. I'm pretty much done. We got 3 minutes. All right, let's do the spinny winny wheel, and we got to come up with the title. So what's the title for this one going to be? And we'll do the titling. Okay, we're going to take it down. I'm going to flip it around, and you can see just how thin it is. Right? It's just a backing to one of our frames. That's all it is, and that's strong enough to hold those clock mechanisms in there without them having to pull on the canvas or sink down in different ways. Gorgeous. Exactly what we wanted to see. Now, what are we going to call it? You guys got to hit me with a title. What are we calling it? What are we calling it? What? Only time will tell. I like that. Only time will tell. Awesome, awesome. Painted on 1/19 of 2024. We're all going to go to paintwithjosh.com, and this one is number, what was it? 1104? 1104. Bang! Very cool. Very cool. So let's do the spin real quick. We'll get everybody over to London's stream, and it's going to be a fun old time. Just a fun old time over there. And I got to put the birds and Beth Ann's birds. All right, we're not going to be done, I guess, in time. Okay, how many birds does Beth Ann have? I feel like I should remember, because she's bought paintings before, but I don't have the best memory all the time. 3, she says. So cool. Do you want me to add 3 on top of my 3, or you just want to pretend that my 3 are your 3? Or should we do 3 in each, 3 up here and 3 down here, or 3 in there and 3 in there. You just want to do one set of 3 birds. You know what I mean? 3 in each. Okay, so mine and yours together. All right, let's come over here. A little bit of this guy. And then last question, Beth Ann. Are you going to be donating your spinning wheel to anyone in the comments, or are you going to save, or keep it and use it for yourself? That's the question. Just flying through. Wicked. Now, normally I put my family. Let's do it still, just to keep the continuity. It's flying through the scene. Now, are we keeping the spinny winny wheel? That's the question. Keep it or give it away. What to do, what to do. The spinny winny wheel. Oh, you guys. What? She's going to keep it. All right, let's do it. Let's do the wheel. No, let me spin you. No, you guys can stay right there. I'm going to do the wheel, and then we're going to end the show. So, everybody get over to Glitterwix over on TikTok. Glitter, glitter, and then Wicks, Wicks. Glitter Wicks. And she's going to be doing some awesome candles, probably already started. Okay, here we go with the wheel. And we're going to rock and roll. Remember, I'll be back later on painting another clock. What are we going to get on the wheel? Let's see. Look at how freely it spins now. My heck. Here we go. Oh, you were so close. So close to a Paint with Josh wins. Oh, I almost won. All right, well, you get a 10% discount off of the Paint with Josh website. So anything off paintwithjosh.com, let me know, and we'll get you a 10% off coupon for that and save you some money. Excellent. Excellent, guys. Wicked cool. So, and I'll throw in a free goodie bag with that, too. Free goodie bag. So, you got your goodie bag, which are these. This one says, let's paint, right? Cool little goodie bag. It's got all sorts of stuff in it. There's like even the cutest little easel in there and little things. I'm not going to tell you everything. Little cute little stuff. So we got you the goodie bag and a 10% discount off the Paint with Josh website. Now, everybody go over and watch Glitterwix on TikTok. She's going to be pouring candles over there. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. And I'll be back probably about, it's 8:30 now, probably 9:30. So 1 hour, maybe 1 hour and 12 minutes. Yeah, about that much. So I love you guys. And until I see you guys again next time, take care. Have the rest of a good day. And bye-bye. My goodness.